Okay, so what we're trying to do here is to make some alcoholic ginger beer. So these are the things that I'm going to use. This is a 5 litre water container. I'm going to use the water out of that, not for any other reason than I've already got it and it's there, but the main reason for this is I'm using this instead of a demijohn. The other ingredients that we're going to use are sugar. I'm going to use 1 kilogram of that, but I'm actually going to use a pint of it, which I think is equivalent of 1 kilogram or roughly the same. We're going to use some lemons. I'm going to grate the peel off them. They're not unwaxed lemons, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. And then I'm going to take the juice out of them and I'm going to put it in there. I've got a big piece of root ginger, which I'm going to just sort of roughly chop and sort of mash up as much as I can, stick in there. And then that should be it, basically. Just a few bits and pieces. Obviously we need yeast to make it into alcohol. This is the one I'm using. I'm not going to use the whole thing, I'm just going to use a bit of it. And then I've got a bung to go in the top of there. It's not the best fit in the world, I'll show you when I put it on, but it should work. And this thing, an airlock or a bubbler, which stops any air getting back into there, which makes sure that it's anaerobic respiration, which is how you make alcohol. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is to get rid of a little bit of this water, because obviously we need to put our ingredients in as well. So I'll do that and then I will start chopping up the ginger. Okay, so the first thing to do is just to chop up this ginger. I'm not bothered about getting it particularly well sliced up or taking any of the sort of peel off the outside of it. I'm sure peel is not the right word, because it's all going to go in there and then I'm going to siphon it out afterwards, so none of this should end up in the final drink. I'll also filter it when I siphon it, so it really shouldn't matter the fact that there's going to be a sort of lot of ingredients floating around in there with it. Okay, so I've cut a bit out for you because I thought it was going to be a bit boring, but I just wanted to give you an idea of the kind of size of the bits that I'm going to put in there. So that'll do. And I'm just going to stick this into the bowl. Okay, so I poured a bit of the water out of the bottle and now I'm just going to put the ginger into it. And that can just float around in there, you know, it's not really a problem at all, I don't think. Okay, so that's the last bit of ginger going in there. I had to pour away a little bit more of the water because I think there's going to be too much. The next thing to do is to get onto the lemons. So for the lemons, I want to take the peel off the outside first, which I'm going to do with a grater. So this grater is not in the best state, but it should work okay. I'm going to take the peel off the outside and then I'm going to chop them in half and then I'm going to squeeze the juice out and I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to put the sugar and the juice into the main bowl. So first thing to do is to grate them just on the outside. I guess I'll use this one. Okay, so that's the last of the 4 lemons sort of peeled or zested or whatever you want to call it. So I'll get the bottle back. And we're just going to put all of that peel or zest into the bottle with it. It should give us a very lemony flavour, which apparently is what's in ginger beer. Okay, and while we're here, I'm just going to sort out the sugar that needs to go in as well before I get things sort of wet and then I have difficulty with the sugar sticking to them. So we want roughly a pint of this, which is going to come up to there. It's a lot, but the yeast will just eat this to make the alcohol, so it shouldn't matter. There'll be more going in at the end when we bottle for secondary fermentation to make it fizzy, and also to you know, slightly bring up the alcohol content a little bit. So I'm just going to attempt to pour that straight into there. Okay, got quite a lot on the floor, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, next I'm going to juice these lemons into here, and I'm going to pour that juice in there as well. So first of all, I have to chop them in half and then stick them through the juicer. Here's the juicer. Just stick it in there. And I'll just do that, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more times. Okay, so that's the lot. Some juice there, not quite as much as I was hoping for, but we'll stick that into the mix. There is a few pips going in there, but it doesn't matter. As I say, we're going to be straining it and siphoning it before we bottle it, so none of that's going to end up in the eventual drink. So the final thing to put in is this champagne yeast. This is a 5-gram packet, but I'm not going to put all of it in because I don't think it's necessary, and I want to save some for next time. So I'm just going to put maybe 1/4 of it in. It says that you don't need to mix it in or anything like that. You know, it'll do its own thing. It'll reproduce in there. So that's another reason why you don't need to put the whole packet in. And that is pretty much it. All we need to do now is stick the airlock on the top, and I'll put a bit of water in that. And I had to pour a bit of water out earlier. I didn't think I was going to fit all the ingredients in. So I'm going to put a little bit more water into it as well. Okay, so I filled it up to about there, and I just need to stick the airlock on the top. So this is the bung. It's a number 10 bung, and if I'm honest, it's too big for this Morrisons 5-litre bottle, but you can just get it in there. So if you're going to buy one, I would get a size smaller than a size 10 bung. And there's the water in the airlock up to there, and this should, if it works, just bubble away and prevent any oxygen getting back in here, so that it's just carbon dioxide in there, and it should cause the alcohol to grow. So I'll stick that on now. In fact, I'm going to put the bung on first without the bubbler. Okay, just about managed to get that on there, and then I'll stick the airlock on top. Just lift it up slightly. So this little bit of space here is just in case there's any frothing or anything like that. We don't want it to end up in here. And that's it for now. I'm going to put that away. I might film a bit of the fermentation if we see anything, and I'll give you an update when we come to bottle it. But that is the finished product for now. I'm not going to bother mixing it or stirring it or anything, because I think that the yeast will do that on its own. But if there isn't anything happening, then I'll jiggle it around a bit and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'll see you next time.